the sweet taste of green lemonade. You may be wondering what might be so tasty about this toxically green, possibly radioactive drink. Well, let me tell you, it's got vitamins, it's got minerals, it's got two of our favorite noxious weeds, and it is so tasty. Through the magic of lemon and honey and a little bit of water, we managed to turn these undesirable weeds into a delicious green lemonade. Move over, pink lemonade. We have a new drink in town. Today we're making green lemonade with cleavers and chickweed. Alrighty, so we're gonna make our green lemonade out of two common edible weeds, chickweed and cleavers. Now, both of these weeds like to grow in disturbed areas, so that's going to be areas around human beings. You don't need to go into the deep forest for these. You're much more likely to just find them in your backyard or in your garden. Chickweed loves gardens, and they really enjoy kind of shady areas. They don't like the heat. They're kind of divas. They come out in the early spring, and they start to go to seed by late spring, and then chickweed will come back for its second tour in the fall. But they both tend to grow in kind of dense mats. You'll see some cleavers right here behind me. It's really taken over this whole hill. And one of the things you have to be mindful of when harvesting either of these two weeds is that they're a little sticky. They like to stick to other friends. They really like to bring some hitchhikers along for the ride. So when you go to pick them, make sure, snap right above the node, and make sure you don't have any hitchhikers. Cleavers, it's really sticky. It's got fine hairs, and chickweed is not as sticky, but it is tangly. It's tangly like somebody's bad hair day. So just be mindful for that. And as always, when you're working with wild plants, make sure that you are harvesting from somewhere that has not had pesticides or herbicides applied. So, stay away from the power lines. Stick to areas where are safe. Gardens, yards, your friends' yards. Just ask around and observe the area before you harvest. And another key tip I have for working with these two plants when you pick them is try and go for things that have some distance from the ground. So how I picked it up here. If you pick it down low, there's a good chance, especially if you're picking from a sandy or a dirty area, you're going to get a little splashback in there. You're going to get some dirt sticking to the leaves, and no one likes to eat dirt, generally. So if you are harvesting from low areas, make sure you give them a rinse when you get home. Before you use them, a little rinse and a dry. If you have the option of harvesting from kind of up here, I would totally do that, because you're going to avoid animals peeing on them, unless they're really tall animals like human beings. But for the dog pee, they get the low stuff. And that's it for kind of like a basic intro. And now, let's get botanizing. I've got my botany bonnet on. It's time to get down to business. Cleavers. Galium aparine is a lovely plant growing along the ground. It's got a square stem, so that means if you slice it, it's going to have a square cross section. It also means if you roll it between your fingertips, you can feel those four edges really easily. What you also will probably feel is those spikes. It's got little teeny tiny spikes all along here and all along the leaves. That's what helps it stick to you. So that's one of the reasons it's so great for something like a green juice or a green lemonade, because you can nibble on this a little bit, but at the end of the day it's a little spiky. So why not, blend it up and then strain it out and extract the nutrients that way. You don't have to deal with sticking to you as it's going down. So another important kind of notice about cleavers is that some people, when they touch it, they get a little rash. And if you're one of the people who get a little rashy when handling cleavers, don't eat it. Just don't do it. It'll make you rashy from the inside out, and we don't want that. So if you're harvesting from a good area and it's not making you rashy, and you know what it is, then you're good to go. Another key feature of the cleavers is it has what's known as whorled leaves. So that's all the leaves are coming out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 leaves coming out from one point, from one leaf node, kind of centrally. The other two leaf patterns in botany are opposite, kind of like this, and alternate, like this. And then there's whorled. And so cleavers is whorled. Another little ID tip, it has these tiny little flowers. They got 4 little petals. You know, we can still use the cleavers when it's in flower. That's one of the magics of making something like a green juice or a green lemonade, is you can use plants that are a little older. They're a little past their prime, but they're still juicy. All right, so now let's take a closer peek at chickweed, Stellaria media. Chickweed is a member of the pink family, pink as in pinking shears, not pink as in the color. So what that means is the flowers are often in the pink family, often look sheared or have very deep lobes. You will see this on chickweed because it looks like it has 10 skinny white petals. In reality, it's got 5 white V-shaped petals. It's crazy. Plants do such crazy things. So it's a member of the pink family. That's all you really need to know about that. As for other little ID nuggets, one of my favorite ones for teaching people about chickweed is it has a fine line of hairs in between the nodes. The nodes are where the leaves come out, and these leaves are opposite. So they go right like this. So the leaves are going to grow directly opposite from each other, opposite, opposite, all the way up and all the way down. And between each pair of leaves, it's going to be a fine line of hairs, and most of the time, the hairline will change in between segments. So right here, it's on this side, and then down here, it's on the other side. So that's a really good tip for identifying chickweed. Another one, if you know you have chickweed and you just really want to make sure and taste it, only eat plants if you're 100% sure you know what they are. But chickweed has a really pleasant corn silk taste. If you ever a little kid, you got a little hungry, you were shucking corn on your parents' patio, and you started to have a little nibble of the corn silk. That's what chickweed tastes like. It's delightful. It's so refreshing. Along with the corn silk taste, it also has very succulent stems. This is a very juicy plant. And when we're harvesting for juicing or making a lemonade, it's nice to harvest young, succulent specimens such as these, but in reality, if we're juicing them, we're not eating them, we're not chomping them. It doesn't matter if they're a little bit stringy. Don't use ones that have gone to seed, but if they're flowering and, maybe just starting to set seed a little bit, you can still totally harvest them and use them in a juice application. That's one of the reasons that making a green lemonade is so great, is because with younger specimens like these, almost just save them for your salads, because they're so good to eat. But then the older stuff that maybe you forgot about it, or something just got in the way, you can use those for green juice. So collect a little bunch of them. For this recipe, we're going to be using about a half cup each, roughly packed, of chickweed and of cleavers. So go out and gather those from areas that it's safe to harvest from. You got the right plant, and you should be good to go. All right. It's time to make green lemonade! So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our weeds. Here we have some chickweed and some cleavers that we picked before, and we're going to use about 1 part chickweed and 1 part cleavers. And the great thing about this juice recipe is that you can use plants that are slightly older, maybe they've seen better days. It's a great way to just use up those chickweed. It's on its way out. It's a little too late to make a salad, but it's still got lots of great nutrition in it, and we are going to extract that via juicing. But not real juicing, just like blender juicing. So, all right, first things first. 3 cups of water into the blender. Bloop, bloop, bloop. And then we're going to take 1 cup of gently packed chickweed cleaver mix. This looks about good enough. And we're going to use our specialty herb shears, which are just fancy scissors for plants, to cut them up a little bit. Just help the blender out. If you got one of those like Vitamixes or something, you probably don't need to chop them because you got a fancy blender. But if you're just using a regular schmegular blender, just, help them out with some scissors or something. You can always lend a hand. There we go. All right, get ready to blend. Other key ingredients of green lemonade, we need something sweet. We need something sour. So we're going to start off with some lemons. Let's see, how many lemons do we need? We need about 1 tablespoon of lemons. Lemon juice, freshly squeezed. Don't buy that stuff at the store. It's so bad. Don't buy the bottled stuff. You're really doing yourself a disservice by doing that. You have to squeeze it fresh. I'm telling you. Ooh, come on now. Perfect. 1 tablespoon. And let's see. Oh, honey, the best sweetener of all, the sweet juice of the bees. All right, come on, bee nectar. Come on, plant nectar. And I like to use a wildflower honey. That clover honey, for me, I don't know, the taste is just really strong. It's a little too strong for my delicate taste buds, so I'm just gonna do a little bit of wildflower honey here. Again, 1 tablespoon, and mush it all up. Get in there. Come on now. Come on now. So this is a pretty simple recipe. If you don't have honey, if you don't have the sweet bee nectar, you can use sugar, maple syrup if you want to get crazy. All right, so that's in there. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put in 2 tablespoons of honey because we like it extra sweet. We want this to be a nice sweet lemonade drink. Not gonna lie, this thing's gonna taste a little chlorophyll-y, but it's nice. It tastes like the aroma of the lawn, which is very pleasant, and so it's gonna taste lovely and refreshing and bring you back to childhood when you sat on the grass playing soccer and picking clover. Alrighty, I think we got everything. So we're just gonna blend this on high for 1 minute or hover high, just to, break it up. We want to extract all that good stuff from inside the plants. So, here we go. Now we're rolling, we're cooking, metaphorically, of course, because these plants are unprocessed and raw. So we got all our lovely bits blended up, and now it's time to strain them. We need some kind of fine mesh thing to separate out the plant material. The whole point of using old plants for this is that we don't want to eat them. We just want to juice them. We just want those lovely greeny bits inside. So here we go. Just pour it in and hope for the best. There we go. We got all of our plant material separated. And the real way to use a nut milk bag is to be patient. You gotta just let it sit there and let nature do its stuff. Really employ gravity as your friend. But in this town, we don't give a hoot about gravity. We're just we're doing it our own way. We're doing it quick. We're hurrying, and we're gonna squish the plant bag with a spoon, because when you're making green juice, it's the end of the world. This is an apocalyptic radioactive juice, and we don't want to wait for that. We want to drink it right now. So here we go. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Get all that good stuff out. And the great thing about this recipe is you just pour everything in the blender and then strain it. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to stir. You don't have to do anything else. So here we go. Now let's give this a taste. And as an aside, this plant juice, one of the cool things about it, that it's green and weedy, is the chlorophyll in it, the chlorophyll that's in the plants. And that's pretty cool because chlorophyll oxidizes pretty quickly. If you make your weed juice, you're really excited, but then you kind of get distracted, let it sit around, you're gonna find out pretty quick it's gonna turn brown. It's gonna be brown juice. No one wants to drink brown juice. So this juice is best consumed within an hour or 2 of making it. So if you're like, oh no, I only have tap water and it doesn't get very cold, put that tap water in the fridge before you blend it. Then it'll come out and be ice cold. You don't even need to dilute it with ice cubes. Just getting straight green juice, straight green lemonade. So let's have a taste-a-roo of this. See how it all worked out. Alrighty. Excellent. It's looking nice in a lovely toxic shade. And let's see how it tastes. Dang, that's good. But I think it needs a little bit more lemon. So whenever you make it, taste it afterwards before you decide how much to put in. I'm going to say we're going to go with just another tablespoon of lemon juice in here to make it more lemonade-y. Oops. And a little for my little glass. There you go, little guy. All right, taste number 2. Perfection! So one of the great things about this juice is both cleavers and chickweed. They're both really mild. They're both really weedy. They're growing everywhere, and there's a lot of them. But they're both very moistening herbs. So if you're feeling a little dried out, a little dehydrated, the plant juice along with the lemon and the honey is a really nice way to rehydrate. I'm not gonna say it's like Gatorade, because Gatorade is pretty gross in my opinion, But this is like plant Gatorade. It's so good, and look, it gets that really disturbing hue naturally, just from plants in your lawn. How great is that? You know, and if this doesn't taste planty enough to you, if you really want to dial it up, you really want to dial up the juice, you really want to like get as many plants inside of you as fast as possible. You don't care about fiber, you don't care about the rest of the stuff that's going on in that plant material we just discarded. You just want all that good stuff inside. Double the plants. Double the plants in your juice, and it'll be extra green. It'll be so bright green. Your neighbors will be shocked. They'll run over and be like, don't drink that. It looks dangerous. You could hurt yourself. And you just sit there and sip on it, and you're like, green lemonade. I feel better than ever. Thanks for tuning in. Please let us know how you enjoyed your green lemonade in the comments. And please like and subscribe for more foraging content featuring weeds and wild invasive plants.